that a lot of questions. What's going on? This is not normal. And is it really shocking that all this egregious violence goes against my husband? Especially that we hear the leaders from the opposition party and mainstream media branding him as a threat to democracy, calling him vile names. They only fueling a toxic atmosphere and giving power all of these people that they want to do harm to him. This needs to stop. This needs to stop. The country needs...
A $150 million lawsuit is no small matter, and when a former First Lady takes legal action, people take notice. In this case, it's Melania Trump going after TV personality Sunny Hostin, and things are quickly escalating. The drama started with a few remarks on The View, where Hostin didn't hold back on her thoughts about Melania's relationship with her husband, Donald Trump. She suggested that Melania wasn't a fan of Donald and hinted that she might even want to take him out. Whether meant as a joke or not, the comments sparked an immediate firestorm. Headlines exploded, and Melania, who rarely speaks out, clearly had enough. Now, she's suing Hostin for defamation, accusing her of making false and harmful statements that damaged her reputation. Melania isn't asking for a simple apology, she's demanding a hefty $150 million. That figure alone makes it clear she's serious, and beyond the money, the lawsuit sends a powerful message. Can media personalities just say whatever they want about public figures without facing consequences?
Would you look? This is a network that still runs out fact checks to these women, like it's concerned about them staying factual. She hates Trump. She doesn't want to be near him. She doesn't want to be president again. She destroyed the Rose Garden, and she hates Christmas. That is what passes for news on a network. They did a presidential debate.
Where's the line between opinion and defamation? And if Melania Trump wins this case, could it change the way TV hosts talk about political figures forever? This isn't just another lawsuit, it's a battle over free speech, media responsibility, and personal reputation. And it has the potential to shake things up across the board. Melania Trump has never been one to let false stories slide. Back in 2017, she took on one of the biggest names in media, the British tabloid The Daily Mail. The publication ran a story claiming that before meeting Donald Trump, she had worked as an escort. The article spread quickly, and Melania's name was suddenly tied to a scandal she insisted was completely false. But rather than just issuing a statement of denial, she fought back aggressively in court. She filed defamation lawsuits in both the US and the UK, seeking $150 million in damages. Her argument? The article not only damaged her reputation, but also hurt her ability to launch her own business ventures as First Lady. The case didn't drag on long. The Daily Mail quickly folded, settled the lawsuit, and reportedly paid Melania $2.9 million.
Melania Trump came out and said she's about as pro-choice as they come. And here was the reaction on The View.
Like the wife of a dictator. She doesn't sound like the wife. She don't sound like the wife of an evil man.
Yeah, she sounds like she's in a happy marriage, right? Why would she go on here and talk with Fox and go in there and...
The Daily Mail also issued a public apology, admitting their claims were false. That lawsuit sent a strong message. Melania Trump takes defamation seriously. She made it clear she wouldn't tolerate damaging rumors, no matter the size of the media outlet. Melania may not be the loudest figure in politics, but she's one of the most strategic. Unlike her husband, who frequently fires back at critics on social media, she takes a quieter, more calculated approach. Her weapon of choice? Lawsuits. From the moment she became First Lady, Melania positioned herself as someone who demanded respect. While other political spouses handled criticism through PR teams or interviews, she took her battles to court. Whether it was the Daily Mail case or smaller legal threats against publishers and authors spreading rumors, Melania followed a clear pattern. She didn't engage in public arguments. She let her lawyers handle it. Some saw her as a private figure simply trying to protect her dignity, while others viewed her legal battles as a way to control her image, using the courts to silence criticism. Either way, her approach to handling public scrutiny set her apart from previous first ladies and shaped the way the public perceives her.
People like our show because they know that we are checked by ABC News. But
we're checked by everybody.
Yeah, we went from Walter Cronkite basically to this guy Joe Rogan who believes in dragons. I checked it. He believes in dragons. He believes in dragons.
Did you triple search that?
Yes, I did. And he also thinks that dragons, like dinosaur type of animals, roamed the earth when people did. So this is the type of really, really bad information that's going out.
Melania Trump has often faced criticism, but rarely fought back in court. Now, with her legal battle against The View and Sunny Hostin, the question is, will this strategy work against a mainstream TV personality? Winning against a tabloid is one thing, but going after a nationally syndicated talk show is a much bigger challenge. If she wins, it won't just be a personal victory for Melania, it could change how media figures approach public personalities. But if she loses, it might send a different message, that even the most powerful public figures can't always control the narrative. Melania's track record shows she isn't afraid of a legal fight, but this time, the stakes are much higher. Sunny Hostin is no stranger to controversy, but her comments have now landed her in serious legal trouble. On The View, Hostin didn't hold back when discussing Melania Trump, making a blunt and shocking statement that Melania hates her husband and secretly wants to take him out. The comment wasn't a casual joke, it was a direct attack on Melania's relationship with Donald Trump. Hostin implied that Melania was actively working against him behind the scenes, fueling speculation that she might not support his political ambitions. The audience reacted with a mix of gasps and laughter, and it didn't take long for the clip to go viral. So, where did Hostin get this idea? She pointed to Melania's past statements, particularly her stance on personal freedoms, which at times seemed to contradict Trump's policies. For example, Melania had expressed support for women's rights and abortion access, despite her husband's firm anti-abortion stance.
In defense, there are some really good news.
It's possible that Donald Trump did roam the earth when dinosaurs were here.
Scream. Sonny, you have a legal note.
I do have a legal note. Thank you, Whoopi. Matt Gaetz has long denied all allegations, calling the claims, quote, invented, and saying in a statement to ABC News that this false smear following a 3-year criminal investigation should be viewed with great skepticism. That DOJ.
Hostin interpreted Melania's past statements as a sign of deeper resentment within the Trump household, suggesting that Melania was signaling her opposition in subtle ways. Whether she was exaggerating for effect or genuinely believed what she was saying, one thing was clear: she had just ventured into dangerous territory. Melania, known for her silence rather than confrontation, had been publicly accused of despising her own husband on national television, and she wasn't about to let it slide. The backlash came quickly. Conservative commentators slammed The View for pushing baseless speculation, calling it another example of media bias against Republicans. Supporters of Melania saw it as an unfair attack on a woman who had mostly stayed out of political drama. Many pointed out that Melania rarely discusses her personal life, making Hostin's claims purely speculative. On the other hand, some media outlets defended Hostin, arguing that public figures, especially former first ladies, are open to scrutiny. They suggested that Melania's actions over the years, from refusing to hold Trump's hand in public to her icy expressions during his speeches, had fueled rumors about their marriage. Hostin, they argued, was merely voicing what many had already suspected. But what really set this situation apart was the legal angle. Speculating about a celebrity's marriage is one thing, but when that speculation turns into a claim of deep personal resentment, one that could harm a person's reputation, it opens the door to legal consequences. As the clip continued to circulate, legal analysts began weighing in. Could this qualify as defamation? Would Melania take legal action? It didn't take long for the answer to become clear. Reports surfaced that Melania's legal team was already drafting a lawsuit.
These are such vile comments, but they are exactly what the Views audience loves. It is targeted perfectly at a radically feminist, liberal audience that loves hate. Another now. This is loving and tolerant rhetoric the left uses, which they accuse the opposing side of using. And this one, those women are a danger to America. They do more than anyone else to stoke political and social tension.
Unlike past criticisms that she had ignored, this time Melania Trump was coming after Sunny Hostin with everything she had. The controversy quickly spread beyond The View as news networks, political commentators, and social media users weighed in. Some called it an attack on free speech, arguing that media personalities should be allowed to express their opinions without fear of lawsuits. Others believed Melania had every right to defend herself against what she saw as damaging lies. As the details of the lawsuit emerged, the stakes became even clearer. Melania wasn't just seeking an apology, she was suing for a staggering $150 million. That number sent shockwaves through the industry. If successful, it could set a precedent that changes how talk show hosts, comedians, and political commentators approach discussions about public figures. For Sunny Hostin, what began as a bold remark had turned into a legal nightmare. And for Melania Trump, this wasn't just about one comment. It was about making it clear she wouldn't tolerate having her name dragged through the mud. The big question now was whether this lawsuit would become a game changer for media accountability, or if it would be seen as an attack on free speech. One thing was certain, this fight was far from over. Melania Trump wasn't just upset, she was taking action. She had officially filed a $150 million defamation lawsuit against Sunny Hostin and The View, claiming that Hostin's comments weren't just false but maliciously intended to damage her reputation. According to the lawsuit, Melania's legal team argued that Hostin knowingly spread defamatory statements about her, suggesting that she despised her husband and secretly wanted to undermine him.
You need to defend yourself all the time. As you may heard, I filed a few lawsuits and I'm in the court now because they accuse me of doing stuff that I never did in my life, and they wrote lies, and I will not allow that. I will fight till the end because I don't want that they damage my reputation.
The lawsuit emphasizes that there is no factual basis for the claims made by Sunny Hostin and argues that making such allegations on a nationally syndicated talk show carries serious consequences. Melania's attorneys describe Hostin's remarks as an attack on her character, contending that they have caused immeasurable harm to both her personal and public image. The lawsuit asserts that these statements weren't merely casual speculation, but were intentionally delivered to humiliate and defame her. What stands out most about this lawsuit is the staggering $150 million demand. This figure signals that Melania is serious about using this case as an example. Her legal team argues that the financial demand reflects not only the reputational damage, but also the need to hold media figures accountable for spreading what they claim are unfounded attacks. The lawsuit doesn't just target Hostin. It also goes after The View and ABC, arguing that the network allowed these defamatory remarks to air without any pushback, essentially endorsing them. If Melania wins, the consequences for media networks could be far-reaching, potentially forcing them to rethink how their hosts discuss public figures going forward. But winning a defamation case is never easy, especially when the plaintiff is a public figure. That's where the real legal battle begins.
You know who has been bragging all over the campaign trail about how he's the one that overturned Roe v. Wade, but apparently his wife has different thoughts on the reproductive rights after posting this video plugging her memoir. Take a look.
Defamation laws in the U.S. are notoriously difficult for public figures to navigate. Under current legal standards, Melania Trump must prove not only that Sunny Hostin's statements were false, but also that they were made with actual malice. This means she has to show that Hostin either knew the statements were false or acted with reckless disregard for the truth. That's a high bar to clear, which is why defamation cases involving celebrities and politicians are so rare and challenging. To win, a close comparison to this lawsuit is Melania's 2017 defamation case against the Daily Mail, where she sued over false allegations about her past. That case ended in a settlement, with the tabloid paying damages and issuing a public apology. The outcome showed that Melania is willing to take on the media and has the legal team to back her up. However, this case is different. Unlike the Daily Mail, which published an article that could be proven false, Hostin's comments were spoken opinions on a talk show. Courts have traditionally given more leeway to opinion-based commentary, especially when it involves political discussions. Hostin's legal team will likely argue that her words were subjective opinions and not presented as absolute facts, which could make it harder for Melania to prove defamation. However, there are defamation cases in which public figures have won. For instance, Hulk Hogan's lawsuit against Gawker resulted in a $140 million judgment in his favor, which led to the site's shutdown. More recently, Dominion Voting Systems successfully sued Fox News for defamation, leading to a $787 million settlement. These cases demonstrate that media outlets can be held accountable, but only when the plaintiff can prove significant harm caused by false statements. If this lawsuit moves forward, Melania will face a difficult legal challenge, but the outcome could have wide-reaching implications for how public figures and media personalities navigate defamation in the future.
Individual freedom is a fundamental principle that I safeguard. Without a doubt, there is no room for compromise when it comes to this essential right that all women possess from birth. Individual freedom. What does my body, my choice really mean?
If Melania Trump wins her defamation lawsuit, it could set a critical precedent, potentially forcing networks to be far more cautious about how their hosts discuss public figures, out of fear of facing lawsuits. On the other hand, if she loses, it could reinforce the idea that public figures must tolerate even harsh or speculative statements about them. This case isn't just about Melania and Sunny Hostin, it's about a larger question. What can the media say about powerful figures? And what are the limits? The outcome could have significant implications for future defamation cases and may reshape the balance between free speech and reputational harm. When news of Melania's $150 million lawsuit against Hostin broke, speculation about Hostin's future on The View spread quickly. Some reports claimed ABC executives were considering removing her to avoid further legal trouble. Others suggested that network higher-ups were worried about the potential financial liability if the case went to trial. The lawsuit put Hostin in an uncomfortable position, as media personalities often rely on sharp commentary to engage their audiences, but now her words had landed her in serious legal jeopardy. Initially, rumors circulated that Hostin's contract had been terminated in response to the lawsuit, sending shockwaves through the industry. However, these claims turned out to be false.
Individual freedom is a fundamental principle that I safeguard. Without a doubt, there is no room for compromise when it comes to this essential right that all women possess from birth. Individual freedom. What does my body, my choice really mean?
Sunny Hostin remained on The View panel, continuing to host alongside Whoopi Goldberg, Joy Behar, and the rest of the team, despite the legal drama. While she kept her job, the lawsuit undeniably left a mark on her career. Legal experts and media analysts pointed out that even if she won the case, the ordeal could affect her future contracts, endorsements, and professional opportunities. ABC, like many major networks, has a vested interest in protecting itself from legal liabilities, and while The View thrives on controversy, a lawsuit of this magnitude forced executives to reevaluate how their hosts handle public commentary. Some sources claimed that behind the scenes, Hostin was asked to be more cautious with her words, avoiding speculative remarks that could open the network up to further legal trouble. This incident raised a broader issue for talk show hosts, journalists, and commentators. The lawsuit made it clear that even opinion-based discussions can have legal consequences, especially when talking about high-profile figures. If Melania Trump wins, it could set a precedent that changes how hosts on shows like The View, The Talk, and Real Time with Bill Maher approach discussions about political figures. But if Hostin loses, it could embolden others to pursue legal action against TV personalities. With a lawsuit of this scale making headlines, The View couldn't ignore it. On a following episode, Whoopi Goldberg briefly addressed the situation, noting that the show had always encouraged strong opinions but also valued responsible dialogue. Joy Behar, known for her outspoken political takes, defended Hostin, stating that discussing public figures was part of the show's DNA and that Melania, as a former First Lady, should expect scrutiny. However, behind the scenes, reports suggested that tensions were high. While ABC publicly stood by Hostin, there were concerns that the lawsuit could escalate, leading to financial damages or reputational harm for the network. Producers reportedly held meetings on how to handle the controversy, and legal teams were actively involved to ensure that further discussions about Melania Trump didn't make matters worse.
Because I do want to get back to this point with the left and Melania Trump. Why can't she just be her own woman and have separate?
And she can.
And so why all that criticism? I mean, that was gross from The View.
And
look,
agree.
The View is not the litmus test of America. We don't think that.
They were afraid of that remark. That was their problem.
So why did they handle it?
The show's response also sparked debates about the boundaries of free speech in mainstream media. Supporters of The View argued that talk shows should have the right to challenge and critique public figures without the threat of lawsuits. Others felt Melania had every right to defend herself against what she saw as damaging and unfounded claims. Another major point of discussion was whether The View had been reckless in allowing such commentary to air without proper fact-checking. Unlike news broadcasts, The View operates as a talk show where hosts share opinions rather than report hard news, but does that mean they get a free pass to speculate on someone's personal life? In response to the controversy, ABC executives reportedly reviewed their editorial policies and provided additional legal guidance to their hosts. Some insiders suggested that The View would adopt a more cautious approach moving forward, ensuring that controversial statements were backed by factual sources or framed as personal opinions instead of definitive assertions. Despite the legal drama, The View remained one of the most watched daytime talk shows, proving that controversy, even legal battles, only fuels public interest. However, the lawsuit had lasting effects on Sunny Hostin, who, while still employed, now had to navigate her career more carefully. Other TV hosts also took notice, realizing that media figures, no matter how popular, were not untouchable. This lawsuit wasn't just about one comment. It sparked a broader conversation about media responsibility, legal accountability, and the fine line between free speech and defamation. The outcome could set a precedent for how talk shows operate in the future, and Hostin's legal battle was far from over. Ultimately, this case raises a crucial question: can public figures sue for defamation when talk show hosts speculate about their lives, or should media personalities have the freedom to say whatever they want without fear of legal action? The result of this case could forever change the way television hosts, journalists, and commentators handle discussions about public figures. What do you think? Should Melania Trump win this case, or is it an attack on free speech? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video and want to stay updated on the latest controversies, make sure to like, share, and subscribe. Turn on notifications so you never miss an update. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.